I'm Spencer with 425 Consulting, and in this video we are going to discuss year-end closing steps. First steps we're going to be taking when closing out our year is going to be verifying that all entries have been made within that year that are required to be done. Once all those entries have been made, we will then be going through and closing out our fiscal period or our accounting period. To do so, we are going to simply search for accounting periods. Once we open that up, you're going to see we have an entire set of all of our years that we have created. From here, what we are going to do is select the Close Year button. It's going to give us a prompt saying that once it's closed, it can't be changed. We're going to hit Yes. Once we've done that, you will see that now all of the closed and date locked period or checkboxes have been selected. This now means that those dates are locked within that accounting period and it has been closed administratively. But this is only the first step when it comes to closing out the year. Now that we've administratively closed the accounting periods within Business Central, the next step will be to actually close our income statement. To do so, we are going to simply back out and go into our chart of accounts. Once inside the chart of accounts, we will select Home, and then we will select our Close Income Statement button. When we do that, it is going to open up a window that is going to have a set of settings for us to define what income statement we are closing. So in this case, we are going to be closing the year 2020. We will be selecting a journal template. In this case, we'll simply be selecting the general journal. We are going to be selecting a journal batch. In many cases, we would recommend having a close income statement or a close balance or close year batch, but really any batch will do. And then you're going to be entering a document number. In this case, I'm simply going to enter in Close 2020 because that's what makes the most sense to me. After that, we will select our retained earnings account as well as posting to the account, whether it's going to be balance or details. In most cases, you're just going to simply select balance. And then we can modify the posting description if we so choose. From there, I'm going to select OK, and it is going to create the entries to close out our income statement. Now that we've created the closing income statement lines within our journal, next piece is to go and actually post those entries. So from here, we're going to simply go over to the general journals and into our default batch that we sent those entries to. Now in this case, because I'm in a sample sandbox, no entries were actually created. But when you run your system and you run that close entries button, it is going to create all of your closing entries. From here, now all you have to do is simply review and then post those closing entries. Once that has been done, your year has now been closed out with those entries created and posted to your retained earnings. Once all of that information has been posted, we now have a closed year. However, if it turns out that you were missing entries or you need to correct entries, what will be required is to actually reverse that closing entry, update any entries that need to be updated, and then recreate those closing entries and post it again. So simply following those steps over again. The closing the accounting period step we did in the very beginning only has to be done once. But when it comes to the entries themselves, again, if anything is incorrect or anything needs to be added, then you would need to reverse your closing entries, add those posts, then recreate your closing income statement entries and post those again back into your chart of accounts. And finally, now that we've created those entries and we know how to reverse them out, the last step would be to do the same steps you would do for your close of month, which is to reconcile your entries, things like that, which in this case you would want to do prior to posting your closing income statement entries. But also, we're going to want to go into our general ledger setup. And from here, we're going to want to roll our allow posting from and to dates forward. This allows us to block off that period so nobody can post back into those closed months. Remember that when you do this, it is going to create any or prohibit any entries from being created within those dates. So in this case, I closed the year 2020. So I would want to set my allow posting from to the 1st of January of 2021. And in this case, we generally recommend keep it within a month's time frame, but whatever range works best for you and your company, you can set that up. This will prevent any back posting. Now, again, in a normal month, I would say that you can set up specific users to allow back posting. But when it comes to closing out your financial year and creating those closed income statements, you do not want anyone posting back unless they understand that they would need to reverse that closing income statement entry and then recreate it once your posting is done. So this is the final step in closing out your year and rolling everything forward. This concludes our video on closing out our year and creating our close income statement lines. Thanks for watching.